Hi guys, welcome to my channel. I'm Eloise. I was so excited to film today's video. So we are in mid-September when I'm filming this, and the fall is around the corner, especially here in New York where I am. And I love the fall and have been anticipating the fall and winter season in terms of my perfume collection. I've been adding some great fall and winter fragrances to my collection since August. And I wanted to make a video not just about fall fragrances, but specifically rose fragrances that I love and think are great for the fall going into the winter. So I have 5 that I want to talk about today, and I tested all of them but one. One was a blind buy, a successful blind buy, and one of my favorites. And the others I tested and wore and then decided that I wanted to add a full bottle to my collection. So the first one that I want to talk about is Thameen Peregrina. Peregrina was very hyped, popular, I think loved by many for good reason. This is an absolute masterpiece in my opinion. I have a full bottle on the way. Today I'm going to be reviewing using the sample that I have. The full bottle is literally, as we speak, on the way, but I had no patience to wait for the bottle before making the video, so this will be just fine. I actually bought 2 samples of this and wore it a lot and really got to know the fragrance, but I'm going to spray some on a tester just to refresh my memory about the notes. Oh, this is so magnificent. This is absolutely beautiful. To me, Thameen is classy, sophisticated, and it just screams elegance. I think this is absolutely a beautiful, elegant rose fragrance. The notes in this fragrance are so perfectly blended. In the opening, before this becomes a rose fragrance, it's more of a floral fragrance. There's lily of the valley, there's some jasmine along with the rose, there's gardenia, but none of those notes are overpowering whatsoever. I can't actually detect gardenia or lily of the valley. They are just blended so beautifully with the rose. They're not necessarily detectable on their own. There's a powderiness to it. There's some sweetness from caramel. There's myrrh in here. There's vanilla. So I know some people describe this as a very sweet rose, gourmand rose fragrance. I don't quite get that. I do get the sweetness in here from the vanilla and the caramel. To me, this is a rose fragrance that does have sweetness to it. I definitely detect the sweetness in this, absolutely. But there are enough ambery and musky notes and almost a little woody at the dry down so that I would not describe this as a gourmand fragrance at all. It's a little powdery, it's feminine, it's elegant. It really is a masterpiece. I love Peregrina, I really do. I read on the official website that La Peregrina means one of the oldest and most valuable pearls in the world. And this just gives off a regal vibe. If you want to feel elegant and regal, I think this is the perfect scent. It's described on the official website as a sensual and seductive floral fragrance that expresses itself with a glorious white floral explosion upon the lingering tones of musk and amber. It is a beautiful blend of florals at the outset that then becomes this rose fragrance that sweetens with caramel and vanilla and has the backdrop of ambery, musky, slightly woody notes to anchor it and prevent it from being too sweet, too floral. This is an extrait de parfum, so in terms of performance, it's excellent. Great longevity. I wore this and smelled it on myself the entire day that I was at work. I think this is perfect as a cozy rose fragrance for the fall into the winter. The next fragrance was also a sample that turned into full bottle. Initio Perfumes Atomic Rose. Oh, this is so intoxicating and a completely different vibe. This is a sexy rose. It is a sexy rose. There's bergamot, Bulgarian rose, and Turkish rose. There's jasmine, vanilla, and Odeon, which is a sweet floral citrus addition to this wonderful fragrance. So you have the rose. The rose is front and center in this fragrance. There's jasmine in the background, and you have a hint of brightness from that citrus element from the bergamot. This is another perfectly blended fragrance. I will always have this in my perfume collection. I just think this is such a sexy rose fragrance. It's compared to Delina. It's been called Delina's older sister, the more mature Delina. I think I would call this a darker, better version of Delina. I don't even reach for Delina anymore. And I think this is great for the fall and winter, but that's not to say that I haven't worn this on a summer night, but I do think that this is a great fall fragrance. This also has excellent performance, great longevity. The projection is also pretty good. Initio's Atomic Rose, another great addition to my perfume collection for the fall and winter. The next one, my successful blind buy. I love this, love this, love this. This is so good. This is so good. Elikay's Lettre de Pushkar. I don't know why I want to describe this as a dirty rose, like a dirty rose, a dense rose, in a good way, in a very, very good way. There's a spicy element in here. There are earthy notes. It gives me the vibe of an oriental fragrance, an exotic fragrance. I would describe this as an exotic fragrance. And look at the color of this juice. Isn't that beautiful? So you have the rose in here that's dewy, and you have cinnamon and nutmeg that spice it up. And then you have the patchouli and the saffron giving it a slightly leathery note in the background. And the fragrance also has sweetness. There is absolutely a sweetness to this. So enveloping this spiced, dewy, earthy rose, you have the vanilla note, which gives the sweetness. It's not too sweet. It's just the right amount of sweetness. The patchouli is not prominent. The patchouli and saffron are the earthy notes that grounds the fragrance. Together with those spices, it's what makes this rose that dewy, exotic, with that oriental fragrance vibe. And the dry down is a little powdery, earthy. The rose is never a cloying type rose. It's not ultra floral. This is an eau de parfum. I think the performance, like the other two, is excellent. I spray it in the morning and smell it throughout the day. It's just such a lovely fragrance. It's like a cool girl vibe, in my opinion. It's cozy. I picture wearing this with jeans, a leather jacket, a sweater in the fall against that crisp air, or as a cozy scent when it's cold. I'm so excited to have this in my collection. I've already worn it a handful of times, and I can't wait to wear this as the weather starts to change. Elikay's Lettre de Pushkar. So this next one also has a big following and was super hyped for good reason. I love Maison Crivelli, and I have a few of their fragrances. This is Hibiscus Mahajad. What a unique fragrance. I love this. This is such a beautiful combination of a jammy rose with a tart hibiscus note. I'm imagining a tart fruit. It's like macerated into a jam with rose petals and some vanilla essence for that creamy sweetness. The way this is blended is so refined. This is an extrait de parfum. The performance is fantastic. The projection is also quite good. I can't spray too much of this. 2 sprays is more than enough. I smell it on myself all day. I also think this is totally unisex. It's not too floral. The tartness of the pomegranate and the black currant and the hibiscus tea cut through that rose. There's that sweetness in the background, and then there's the ambery base with that slight leather note. It's just wonderful. And this type of tart rose that's prevented from being too sweet or too bright, I think is perfect for the cooler season in the fall. I really can't wait to enjoy this. I only wore this a couple of times so far. I'm looking forward to wearing this in the cooler season. Hibiscus Mahajad by Maison Crivelli. And the last fragrance is one that I'm sampling, and I think I love it. I'm going to continue to sample it. I feel like I can't have a review or speak about fragrances if I don't include something from Memo Paris. I love Memo Paris. I am in love with almost all of their fragrances. So this one is a rose fragrance. It's called Odeon. I don't know if it's going to focus. So this appears on the Memo Paris website as a limited edition. It's not available in the States. So if I want to order this, I'll have to order it from the boutique in Paris. And I think I'm going to add this to my collection because it's beautiful. Let's spray. So this to me smells like the perfect combination between Atomic Rose and Peregrina. So you have the rose in Odeon that's front and center. This is definitely a rose fragrance. There are a host of notes here. It takes you on such a journey. It has a candied rose accord that mimics that sweetness that's in Atomic Rose. And then it also has the cashmerian and the sandalwood. And there's a little bit of patchouli for some earthiness. But there is some base notes of amber and musks and tonka bean. So you have the creaminess, you have the sweetness, you have that candied rose that it almost reminds me of the sweet aspects in Atomic Rose, but the woody and amberiness aspect reminds me of Peregrina. To me, Peregrina is more of a feminine, refined, elegant fragrance. And even though I love this and want a full bottle of this one as well, it's just a little different. It's like a darker version of Peregrina. This has depth, this has denseness to it. And I think it's the denseness of this rose that makes me want this for the fall and the winter. This is Odeon by Memo Paris, another beautiful, beautiful rose fragrance. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed my discussion of these beautiful rose fragrances. Each one has its own uniqueness. Each one is so beautiful, but I think all of them are great rose fragrances for this fall and winter. Thank you so much for watching. Bye, guys.